Hello, welcome to Viral Skill 247. My name is Henry Waters, and if this is your first time in this channel, you haven't subscribed yet, please do so by hitting that red subscribe button, turn on your notification icon there so you get my notifications once I release new videos. Alright, in today's tutorial, you're going to learn how to implement Paystack Transfer Fund API payment integration in PHP. This has to deal with transferring money from your Paystack account to other bank account. This is a very nice feature that Paystack has. So I'm going to be doing that in PHP. All right. So before then, I'll be showing you my starter files. So this is my starter files database folder where I have my database connection, error page, finalize underscore transfer file, the initiate page, recipient.php file, success page, verify, and as well as webhook. Okay, this is a great way for you to also learn how to implement webhook both on Paystack and also other payment platforms. All right, so we're going to head over to Paystack single transfer page. So this is the single transfers page, and you can transfer money in 4 easy steps. First is to verify the account number which you want to transfer money to. Then create a transfer recipient. This is where you store the recipient's details in the database for future reference. Then the third step is to initiate a transfer, then listen for transfer status. Okay. If we scroll down, we can see the verifying the account number. To do that, you need to copy this core script which I've already done, and this is the response values. Okay, so this is what you get once that script runs. So if we head over to our code editor, as you can see, this is my database connection script with database name of what Paystack, then no password and username of what root. This is my verify.php where I verify the account number to know whether if it is real. So when we scroll down to see what we have in our form, okay, the first input is the account number which has a name of what account underscore number. Second one is what bank code which has a name of what bank underscore code. Then the submit button of what verify with a name of what verify. Okay, those names are the index names. So if it is post variable, that means when the button is being pushed, I define the variable, call it account number, and this is the index name of what account underscore number with the global post variable. I need to add my SQL rule escape string in order to avoid SQL injections. Okay, so I define those two variables which we have in our form, as we can see here. Okay, so the first thing I did here is to check in my transfer underscore recipient table name if the account number entered already exists. Okay, that's what this query does. So if number of rows is greater than 0, that means if it exists. I encoded an alert, a JavaScript alert message of what account number is already verified with correct bank code, generating a recipient code. Okay, so that is what I just did here. All right, then if it is not else, then this is the core script which we got from Paystack, as I showed you earlier. So what I did in the API here is to pass the account number variable, which I did here using raw URL encode function. I passed this account number variable which we got from the form. Okay, if we scroll up, which we got from here, right, and as well as what bank code. Okay, so that is it. So if we scroll down, we can see I also added my secret key, which is a live key. The reason why I had to add my live key is I don't know why, which I've done this. I keep getting error when I use my test keys. So okay, if you don't know how to get your keys, you can head over to developer page. When you log into your dashboard.paystack.com, click on settings, then API keys and webhooks. When you get over here, you can pick up your keys, either live or test keys. All right, so let me, since I'm using a live key, let me on my change it to live. Okay, which I just did now. All right, so remember, you click on settings, then you click on what API keys and webhooks, so you get your keys here. All right, that's if you don't know how to do that. So when we head back here, the next step here is um, this is the result variable. Okay, so what I did is to, in order to access it as an object property, I use the function called what JSON underscore decode function of the response variable, which we got from here. Okay, then I could find a variable called it verify, then the result and the status. Okay, so the status of this verify is being gotten from here. Okay, so I check if the status is true. All right, so if it is true, then account number is resolved, verify with bank code. This will echo, else it will now echo invalid account number or bank code is not resolved. For example, I'm going to come here, add a random number, and the bank code is usually a 3-digit number. So let me just make it maybe a 4 and click on verify. You're going to see what's going to happen. What does it say? It says what invalid account number or bank code is not result of verified. All right, so that is working. Okay, so but if it is verified, then we'll be redirected where toward the recipient.php page, passing the variable of the name. Okay, this name, that name has to do with what the name that will fetch from the database, because um, the name variable is coming from database. Okay, fetch from the transfer underscore recipient table. Okay, where the account number is equals to what arch account number, which we gotten from the form. Okay, so this account number variable and bank code variable is coming from the form. Okay, so we appended that to this URL. So once this verified, the status is true, the user will be directed to where the recipient.php as mentioned earlier. So that is it. And also when we scroll down here, we can see the condition that I passed there. If it is not empty, the post account underscore number, and if it also not empty, the recipient underscore code. So this variable recipient underscore code has to do with, I'm just checking if the account number that the user is entering has already been stored in the database which was fetched. Okay, so using this query, I fetch the recipient underscore code variable from the database as well as the name. Okay, if they are not empty, I had to echo what the recipient code of the user. Okay, as well as what the pass the recipient code, which is also visible. All right, I pass it to this URL initiate.php file. For example, now when we head back here, and I'm going to enter an account number now. Okay, I'll enter my account number. Right, so the bank code for my account is, which is an access account, is 044. All right, so I have a URL here. Okay, I'll leave that in the description box. This is where you get all the whole bank code that are in Nigeria. Okay, this is where you can get that. So once I click on verify, this is the first time of doing this. I've already been verified. I've been redirected to where to initiate.php file. So when I just go back to verify page, I'll probably enter the same account number 71189. Okay, then 044. Then click on verify. Account number is already verified with correct bank code generating a recipient code. Click on this. So if you click on OK, you're going to see that here, as you can see. So where the alert message is coming from is from here. Okay, so this is the database name Paystack with table name transfer underscore recipient. So if I refresh this, we are going to see that it has already been inserted in the database. So you can see the name. It got the name. This is the transfer underscore code, right? Then the type is no bank. This is my account number, the bank code as well, also bank name. So this is a very nice feature. You can use it also to get the bank name of any account number being given to you using this Paystack Transfer API. All right. So so this explains what happens here. All right. So if it is not empty, it echoes this out. All right. So the user can now click it and get to the initial.php file. So, but if it was the first time verification, which has not been stored in the database, the user will be redirected to where the recipient .php file, which is this. Okay, so what is being done here is to check if this is empty. They get the name which was passed in the URL, which is this. Okay, the name variable. Also check if it's empty. The account number, which was as well was passed in the URL, right? And also check if the bank code is empty. All right, so if all those are empty, this is where the curly bracket close. The user will be redirected back to where the error.html file, which I showed you earlier. Also, if they are not empty, then I define the variable, call it name. So we got the name from the URL, the account number from the URL, and also bank code from the URL using the global PHP get variable. All right, so if we head back to the single transfers page for this tutorial, this is the transfer recipient code, the code, which I already have. So this is what it looks like. All right, and this is also the response. All right, so which has a message was transfer recipient created successfully. Okay, so if you look at this, before sending money to the account, you need to create a transfer recipient with the account detail. This will return a recipient code, okay, that you can then initiate the transfer to. All right, so this is where we can get what I think the transfer, the recipient code, which we can use now to initiate the transfer. All right, so that is it. So this API, this transfer recipient has fields. Okay, type Nuban, which we left at Nuban. Then the name is what the name of this variable, which will go from the URL. Then at the account number, what will go from the URL, which we defined here as well. Okay, then the bank code, we'll put the bank code there. Then the currency, if you're in Ghana, you put your Ghana 3 digits string. Okay, I'm sorry, this tutorial is mainly meant for Ghanaians and Nigerian. I think South Africa is on the way as well. So sorry if this doesn't pertain to your country. So if you scroll down, okay, you can also add your live key here as well. So that call is being gotten from here. Okay, I just copied this and then did the changes, right? So I put the variable here, the account number variable here, and also the bank code, which we got from URL. So you have seen the reason why I need to pass the account number and the bank code in this URL. Okay, so you can be able to fetch that and replace it to these fields. All right, so when we scroll down now, this is the response, the result. So when you use the JSON underscore decode function in order to access those values also as an object, okay. So what I did here is to get the recipient name. All right, so this is the response. We scroll down, so this is the response. So to get the recipient name, the transfer code, I had to pass through this variable which I defined here. Info, called it info, pass this result variable which was gotten from here. Okay, I commented this out. All right, after that I now got the recipient underscore name. So I had to go through the info, which is this, then the data, and then the name. So when we get back, so after the info, then this data, then if we scroll down, we can now get what the name of the recipient. All right, so the same way was done for the recipient underscore code, which is very, very important. What we needed here, this is the important data that we need from the response, okay, which is this, right? That's the recipient code, and this is where we stored it in the database, right? Because we'll be needing that. So the same way other details was gotten, okay, I got this account number from the response. You can as well get it from here, from the URL, but I just had to do it from where the results that we got, which is here. All right, so which we need to pass after the data. I think you need to pass through the details, so that is why I have the info, data, details, then the account number, bank code, and bank name. Okay, so after passing through the details, you get the account number, account name, then bank code. You can even get the bank name as well, which I did, I think. Yeah, I got the bank name as well. So that is that. So if the info also status, if this condition is true, which we'll have as the response here, status is equals to true. So if this condition is true, then to be inserted into the database of what transfer underscore recipient table name, which has already been done here. All right, so it has already been transferred. So the table name is what? Name, recipient underscore code, type, account underscore number, bank code, and all that. I used bind underscore parameter. So I assigned all those values to be what? Strings. So these variables is coming from here. Okay. So then the statement was executed. Now, if it is not true, that is, if it is not inserted, then this will echo there was an error. Then I pass the debugged error to know what the error. Else, the user will be redirected to where initiate.php, passing what? The recipient underscore code in the URL. So this recipient underscore code, which was as stated earlier, which we'll be using to initiate the transfer, was gotten from here. So I need to pass it in this URL as the user will be redirected. Okay. So if you notice, when I try this out, when I verify this account number, immediately I was redirected to the initiate.php page. So if I click on this again, which I've done before, okay, I'm going to try and use another account number. So I'll add another account number to 3337740. Okay, the bank code, this is a Stanbic account number, I think. The bank code is 221. Remember, I'll leave the description in the box where you can get all the whole bank codes that you need. So I'm clicking on verify. As you can see, I'm immediately redirected to the initiate.php file. So this recipient page has been run from here. We got to here, then immediately we are being redirected to where? Initiate.php. All right. So that is just it. So we are here now. Okay. First thing that was done in the initiate.php file is I included my database connection, which is in the database folder, and check if it is empty the get variable of recipient underscore code, which was passed in the URL. Okay, and if that is true, the user will be redirected to wherever they are coming from. Okay, that's what this script does. Okay, if they are coming from a Gmail account, they will be directed back there. Then I defined a variable called stored underscore recipient underscore code with an empty value. Okay, I'll be using that. If you don't define that, it might have an error. Then if set post with an index name of transfer. So when we scroll down, we have a form here, just like what we have here. This is initiate.php file. So we have a form, another form which has what reason and what an amount. And remember, this initiate the transfer to this account name. So I picked this account name from the database, okay, to echo that out. So if I scroll down, let me just show you that real quick. So if it's not empty, okay, this is where I have it. All right, so the recipient underscore code, this is the get variable gotten from the URL. I use that to select everything from the transfer underscore recipient table, okay, where what the recipient underscore code is equals to what this. So when we head back there, I think we should now have about two account number that was being verified. So both of them are here. So I fetch the name, okay, which is this, the name of the user. Then if the number of rows is greater than 0, that means it exists. It will now echo what the account name. So this is where I code it out. If it's not empty, the account name variable, then don't do, if it is empty, don't do anything else, echo what the account name. So that was the reason why we have that there. All right, so when we get back here, this is what I did. So I checked in my database, okay, I had to fetch the recipient code which was stored in the database to check if it will match with the one that is coming from the URL. Okay, so I defined a new variable to that called the stored underscore recipient underscore code, which has a data of what recipient code. So in summary, what I did is I fetched the recipient code stored in the database. Okay, check if it's the same thing what was fetched from the URL. So if it's not equal to what was stored in, then echo this recipient code stored does not match with the code received, because the reason that someone can come over here and probably change this. All right, so if we change that and fill out this, maybe add a value to make the transfer, we're going to get an error. Okay, error or transfer could not be initiated, contact the developer. All right, don't worry about this error, I'll still explain that to you. So we're back here now. So that is where this alert message is coming from. Else, this is the transfer API core script which we are gotten from the Paystack. Yeah, so this is the initiate a transfer script. So this script is where it will run. So when all those conditions didn't give any problem, that's the script. Okay, so here I pass the amount. Okay, also the recipient code which was fetched from the URL as well as the reason. Okay, so the amount, that's why I have what the reason input field, the reason why the user want to transfer money to that account, and amount. That's why I have this field here. Okay, I think I've not explained. So this is the field has a name of index name of what reason. The amount has an index name of what amount. Then the transfer button has a name of what just transfer. So that is why I have this set function. So if when it is being clicked, the code will run. Okay, so that is that. So here I pass the amount which was gotten from the form. Remember, I escaped it to avoid SQL injection, as well as the amount. So the reason variable and the amount is there. So I passed it here, times it by 100, because Paystack also always recognize any amount that is being passed here as a kobo, or if you're using Ghana cedis, pesewas, I think that's how they call it. Then the recipient's code variable I passed in, then the reason which was coming from the form also passed there. Okay, just like as we have here. All right, so that's core script is coming from here. And remember, this is the response values. So like always, I added my secret key. Remember, I'm using my live keys. Okay, I don't know why I keep getting errors with test keys, so I'm using live. So just like always, these are the values which will go from the response. As explained this earlier, after decoding the results, I now got the values which I want. Okay, so the first thing I need to check if the status variable which is coming from here, if it is equals to what success. All right, that is it. Seems like there's a mistake in this status variable which is coming from here. Okay, and let me check that out. So the status here is true, and I have a string of what success. So this is supposed to be out. Okay, so if this variable is true, has a true keyword, then this code will run, which will insert into transfer underscore initiated table, which I have here. Okay, so this is the transfer underscore initiated table, which will store the details which we got from paper. So this is how the structure looks like, as well as the transfer underscore recipient. This is also how the structure looks like. Okay, so the message reference amount, all that is coming from here. Okay, so for the message variable, the message variable is coming from here. Okay, it's coming after the initiate variable, which is this, after the JSON underscore decode function. Then that, okay, that's supposed to be out, then data and status. Okay, so that is it. So for the amounts variable, we'll go to data and amount. So the same way for others, right? For the amount variable, so this is the data, we'll go to amount, currency, reason, whatever you want to fetch. Okay, then we'll start the values that these variables to the database. Okay. Sometimes when a user makes a transfer, he or she might get an OTP number from their bank. Okay, so for that, the user needs to put in the number just to verify they are the one that been making the transaction. Okay, so when that happens, this is one of the reasons why I have this, just in case. All right. So I have this else if the status is equals to OTP, then redirect the user to where finalize underscore transfer.php. So for that, I pass this transfer code, this variable which was gotten from here. Okay, I pass the code in the URL. All right, so that is it. So coming back to the reason why we had the error, the reason why we had the error is because the account that I have is a starter account, right? So to be able to make transfers, okay, with Paystack API, you need to upgrade your account to what is called a business account. So to do that, when you log in, click on settings, I think compliance, it used to be business, then you edit uh, your starter account, you need to upgrade that, okay? Then for the business type here, you choose registered business. Then fill out this field, save it. There are other things that you need to do as well, okay, in order to upgrade your account. So this is the reason, okay. I've done this before. I will show you. So for this var underscore dump result variable, which is coming from here, I'm going to make this payment now and see what is going to happen. So reason for sending the money, okay, for Christmas. So for Christmas, then amount, let's leave it at 5,000 naira. Then click on transfer. Okay, there's a mistake here. It seems like this is not the right place to have it. Okay, anyhow, we need to have check for this. Okay, when you try this online. All right, and so when I've commented that this is not the right place to have it. Okay, so when you run this code, you need to maybe create an else, then one condition, okay, and maybe have an if statement, okay, where you can have this, okay, then else you cannot have the error code, else echo the error code. I think this will work. So okay, it's looking good. Land dispute amount 5,000 naira. So when you click on that, boom. So you can see transfer could not be initiated. Contact the developer. Okay, that's where the message is coming from here, I think. Okay, that's where the message is coming from. So I commented that then dump to see the reason why we had these errors. Okay, so look at the status here. It is false. It's not true. All right. Then the message. Okay. Then the message is what from Paystack. It says you cannot initiate third-party payouts as a starter business. See the reason why I mentioned you need to upgrade your account in order to have this feature in your website or wherever you want to integrate this. Okay. If it is a business account, this error won't be here, and this error that we are seeing here is gotten from these variables, okay, which we fetch if it was a true condition. Since it is false, this is the only message we're getting. Okay, so that's why our error started from where, what number? Okay, 54. So the number is what? 54. All right, so for that message here, okay, I think it's here, scroll up, data, message, data, then status. Okay, message, data, then what? status. All right, so that's why we have these errors. Okay, and for line 55, because this is all what we have. Okay, all these other variables that we're trying to fetch, they are not in that result, so that is why we have that. Okay, I hope you understand that. So coming back to the OTP, just like what we have here. So if you scroll up, okay, this is the initiate, and if you scroll down, okay, it has a status of OTP. So when this happens, that means the user need to enter a certain number sent from their bank, okay, in order to initiate the transfer. So when that happens, okay, that's why I have this condition. So else, if the status is equal to OTP, then location finalize the transfer. So that is where we have this URL. Wait. I think there's a problem here in the status. Okay, this status has a true boolean value, and that status variable only fetches the first status. Okay, and there are two status here. The one that is in the data, which has this OTP. So obviously this is wrong. This is supposed to be a message variable, because the message variable here passed through the data then status. So that is what I'm supposed to be checking here. So this is supposed to be message. If it's equals to OTP, then go to finalize underscore transfer.php. Then this is supposed to be status if it's equal to, because if we check here, it has a true boolean value for the first status. So if it's equals to true, and I'll need also to check another condition, the message as well. So the message has a status of what? String value of success. So if the message has a string value of success, okay, that means it does not require us finalizing the transfer. Okay, so if this condition is true, if has a true boolean value and message is also what success, then go here. Else, if the message is OTP, that's we need to authenticate that, because OTP requires us to fill in the number that our various bank has sent, or to just to be sure that is being authenticated by us. Else, then go to this page. So this is how it's supposed to look like. It was done before. It is what is done here. Checked if it is empty, the transfer code in the URL. If it is, redirect the user. Else, I have a post variable with form. So this is how the transfer looks like. Okay, this is the finalize. So let me change that to finalize underscore transfer. Then I think this should be transfer code. Okay, then refresh that. I know we're going to have an error about recipient code. Okay, so this is how your file transfer should look like. Okay, this is where you now enter the OTP gotten from your bank, enter that, then click on finalize. So when you click on that, the rest of these codes will run. All right, so the same thing is being done. So the transfer code which was gotten from the URL is this variable. Okay, and the OTP also what was gotten from the form is this. So if we scroll down, this is how the form looks like. Type number, name, OTP with button what, finalize with name what, transfer. Okay, so if that is true, this will run. All right, so the same thing. So for the finalize API transfer, we'll scroll down. This is how it looks like. So this is the coil. As you can see, what we need there is what the transfer code and the OTP, the number. So that's why I have this form here, the number. When you impute that, then you click on transfer. So if it is true, remember this is the response. Okay, that's the response. The same, just very similar to the initiate API response. So insert it to where the transfer underscore initiated. So this other table that I have here. All right. So that's just about it. Then after that is done, this is the webhook. Okay, this is an opportunity for people that don't know how to handle Paystack webhook to learn from it. It is very advisable to implement webhooks in this type of integration. The reason is because if the network connection of the user's device fails or is weak, there might be a wrong status that might be inserted in the database. So webhook will help in order to update the database, okay, given the right status, okay, of the transaction or whatever the event might be. Right. So when we scroll down, we can see the different the way we can receive an event. Okay. So, but before then, the first thing we're going to do here is to head back to Paystack dashboard. Okay. When you click on settings, go to API keys and webhooks. Okay. This is where you can update your live webhook URL. If you are working in a test mode, you can do that here. Just like I said earlier, Paystack, you cannot receive an event from Paystack test mode unless you have external um, application installed. Okay, so in order to do that, first thing you do is to enter your URL, okay, your website's domain name, then the wherever the webhook file is. All right, if it is in a folder, you add the folder, then the webhook.php or whatever the name. You can change the name. It must not be webhook.php. Yours can be any name. Okay, so that is just that. So after that, head back here. Okay, this is a simple way. In order to verify event, be sure that it's coming from Paystack. This is where I copied this code. Okay, so when you copy that, which I did, I pasted that there. All right, so the editing that I did here is to add what the X Paystack signature. Okay, according to their documentation, it says what the valid events are raised with a header X Paystack signature, which is what essentially a HMAC SHA512 signature for event payload signed using your secret key. So I copied that and replaced that with here. Although I haven't tried this out, but I'm sure this is how it works. So after that, then you add your secret key, which I did here. Add my secret key. Okay, then is there any other thing? Okay, there's not much thing again to do. Then after that, use JSON underscore decode function in order to access the values, whatever is coming from the event. Okay, then I define a variable, call it a reference, then pass through the events and also data. All right, the event that we're expecting to receive in this tutorial, since we are doing a transfer fund API, we're expected to receive a transfer.success or transfer.failed or even transfer.pending or whatever the events might be. Okay, look at the event that's been sent: transfer success, transfer failed, transfer reversed, not pending, sorry. So to check that, first thing I did is just to get the reference, okay, the transaction reference, which I did. I passed through the event, then data, the reference. Okay, so that's the data. So this data coil is being closed here. So for that, we can get the reference right here. After that, then the status, okay, passing through the data, then status. All right, so using the switch statement now, okay, I check this event variable, okay, to get the event, to know the type of event being received from Paystack. Just like I said, we're expecting the transfer.success. So if that is success, we'll date the database of transfer underscore initiated table, set the status to what? The status. So this status that we've been getting from the events that Paystack sent. So normally in the initiate.php page, Okay, all right, this is no longer needed. This is how it's supposed to look like. So in this page, the transfer underscore initiated table will be updated. Although if what we receive has a string of what OTP, the user will go back to finalize transfer, which will still what up insert into what transfer underscore initiated. So after that, that is the reason why I have to update it, to be sure to also update the status table. So just like I showed you earlier, so this is the initiated underscore transfer underscore initiated table. So that's how it looks like. So this is the status that will be updated. All right. So where what the reference is equal to arch reference. So it's going to be looking for where this reference is coming from. All right. So that is just it. So guys, this is very easy. Okay, and I think that's the end of this tutorial. All right, so if you learned a new thing, please give me a thumbs up. If you have been watching up to this extent, I'm very grateful. Thanks for watching. If you have any question, please leave that in the comment section, and I will see you on the next one.